Hi, this is Evelyn of the Modern Needle, and today we want to talk about blocking, yes or no, and why would we even want to block? So let's have a look. These fingerless mitts here are blocked, and I block them on pool noodles. They're perfect for blocking. If you don't have sock blockers, you can block them on the pool noodles as well. And one of the things that I think about blocking, I've been knitting for a long time, and the blocking's only come up in the last 10, 15 years or so in the knit talks of blocking. And I was always thinking, well, blocking, why would you want to do that? I mean, we've never done that before, and it actually didn't matter. But since then, I kind of had to eat my words. I do that many times. And the difference is simply this. So when you look at the glove, at the fingerless glove, this is the same size as this guy here. And this is blocked. And this is not. So it looks different. It evens out any stitch imperfections that you may or not have. On the marled yarn, it's a little bit harder to see, but here you can see it a little bit better. And I use it for a last quality check, if you so will. So on this one here, and this one here is blocked as well, it is a thinner yarn, so it does relax back into the pearls will relax as well a little bit, but you can see that any mistakes that I made here, so here I had a knit instead of a pearl, here I had a knit instead of a pearl, you will see it, which in my estimation is not a big deal. It will go to a non-knitter anyways, but most of the time these little blips here, I can see them, but somebody that doesn't knit won't necessarily be able to do so. But look how professional this looks actually. It's just a little bit more elevated. And the other reason why I block is, I'll pull this guy off in a minute. It's my last quality check before the knitted item leaves my house. And what I mean by that is, so I'll check the stitches, I'll check that everything is the way that it needs to be. But then on the blocking board, I will also see things like this, where I didn't catch all of the yarn in that stitch. Now, this is already knitted, so I used one of my Fame bobby pins here for marking the spot. And the reason why I like the bobby pins is because they're in and out fast and they don't distort the fabric. So this is the only one that I saw, but I check for that on a regular basis because that happens, and it happens quite a lot. So it is not a distressing or a crying factor or anything like that, because anything in knitting can be fixed. So I have already taken a minute to rethread this fabric here, and I'm just going to fix this particular stitch here. So you can see that this stitch comes up. Let's move the light a little bit down more. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'll add one more light. There you go. It is this stitch here. And this stitch actually comes up in here, moves over to this way here, and then comes back in here. That's this stitch. So we're just gonna mimic it. I'm going to clean up weave in my yarn tails here. And the way I like to do it is go back and forth in the knit column. And I can do that on either side, on the knit or on the purl side. It actually doesn't matter. But I'll bring it up this way here. Okay, so now I'm coming back over this side, but I am going to catch this stitch right in the middle of the stitch right here. I'm coming out in the middle. Sorry, I believe I'm shaking the camera a little bit because my hands are on the table. I follow this stitch along. I came right out where it comes out. Now I'm going to do this, go in between those two, and go back in here. I'll come back out this way because I'm going to clean up the thread as well. So here it is. I'll pull that up a little bit. There we go. And it's all fixed. So now I'm going to turn this a little bit so that I can go that I can clean up my threads. I'll take this off for a minute. I'll stretch it every so often so that it keeps in the same tension of my knitting. And you can barely see these little cleaned up threads when I'm done. Okay, so that should be enough. Let's clean it up. And again, I do like the curved scissors because I can get right up to the fabric, but it won't snip inside the fabric or snip the fabric off. I can do the same here. There we go. And it is all fixed. There we go. It is this stitch here, so I can technically pull it a bit tighter on the side here. There it is. Clean it up. And it's all ready for giving. There we go. This is how it looks from the other side. It's all cleaned up. So, this is why I like blocking. It is my last quality control and it just elevates it. It gives it just a professional look. And it is the same when I finish the rounds, knitting in the round on the top. Oh, I already cleaned it up. Here, I'll bring it back. Because when you knit in the round and you pull your yarn through, you do have a bit of a jog. And the reason that is because we knit in rounds, not in a spiral like a concentrical rounds. So we do have a jog here. We get a jog whether we knit in color or in single color. We generally don't see it if we use one color. This is llama in wool, so it does have like the little llama thread sticking up like right here, spread off the fabric. So again, the yarn comes out of the top here. So I will feed it through my stitch on the side, just like the other stitches lay like a chain. So I'll do this. And wherever that yarn came out, I'll feed it right back into this yarn loop. Even up my tension. and that's how it looks like. Now, very often on this very first row, we do get a bit of a bump in here, or it almost looks like a little hole. So I weave the needle up and down in here to minimize that or clean it up. You can't actually see it by the time I'm done here. And then again, I weave my yarn in just like I did before to clean up my threads. And generally I leave my threads hanging until the whatever it is that I block, whether that is a sock or a sweater or these fingerless gloves here. And then when it's blocked, I pull everything straight. Here we go. I don't need to leave it hanging as long, but I will leave it out a little bit so that by the time I pull it to even out the tensions, then I can cut it off when I'm finished. And nobody can see that that is actually a woven in tail. I can do it from either side. It actually doesn't matter, but I did it from the outside so that you can see. And this is, okay, so actually here you can see not only does it puff up the yarn where the yarn relaxes and falls in line, it also evens out the stitches quite a bit. Now this yarn here I'll double. Same with this, and you'll be able to see when all of this relaxes. And then I put a few drops of lavender oil into the blocking, into the water that I used to bloom this yarn. You can see how it puffs up, how the wool actually puffs up, and it gets this very even quality here. So, happy knitting, and I hope this answered some of your questions. Merry Christmas.